Gotta bring in Fox NBA analyst Ric Bucher, but Acho, do you agree with LeBron that he should have won more than 4 MVPs?
I do, man. First off, though, shout out to Kuzma, grade A brown noser. Whenever Kuz gets an opportunity to praise LeBron James, not only does he do it, he does it in hyperbolic fashion. Like, it'd be one thing to say, yeah, LeBron should have about 5, 6 MVPs, but he said about 8, 9 MVPs. We all know that. Like, Kuz, come on, big dog, calm down.
Calm down.
But yes, LeBron should have more than 4. He should have 5 to be exact, and he should have had 5 in a row. The one I'm going to highlight primarily is when D. Rose won in that 10-11 season. Now, Slick, I see you nodding your head, a little bit in agreement, a little bit in disagreement, but rock with me. We all know why LeBron ain't win that one. And he did not win that one because of the decision. He chooses to leave, go to Miami, and in his first year when he had more points than Derrick Rose, who ended up winning MVP, more rebounds significantly than Derrick Rose, who ended up winning MVP, and 0.7 less assists per game than Derrick Rose, a point guard, who ended up winning MVP. That is a year LeBron should have won. He didn't because people weren't feeling Bron. 1, because you get a little bit fatigued of excellence, and 2, because they were mad about the decision. I showed up in Cleveland right after LeBron left. Remember, drafted to the Cleveland Browns. There was not even a morsel left of LeBron James remnants that said he ever played here. I walked into the owner's suite because the Cavaliers would show love to us and let the Browns players watch the game from there. No LeBron James posters, no LeBron James nothing. The same LeBron James that took them to their first title in 2007. That LeBron James they completely denied. Now, if Cleveland is going to deny LeBron James, imagine how the rest of the league denied LeBron James. Now, later on, I'm going to tell you about the other arguments for other years, but LeBron should have 5 MVPs. He should have had 5 in a row, and the only reason he didn't was because of the decision.
Dang.
Well played, Captain Steubing. Well played. I am impressed. We go from the final rose to the love boat. I see a theme developing here. In any case, no, I don't believe that he deserves more than 4 MVPs. It's simply that he didn't win MVP every time he should have. But he also won a couple that he should not have. What comes around.
Let's go.
When he was in Cleveland the first time around, he took one from Kobe Bryant that he got statistically. He took another one from Kevin Durant, who took a team that was a 23-win team one year to 50-plus wins the next year, and did it with a starting lineup that had 4 guys under the age of 25. And oh, by the way, Kevin Durant led the league in scoring that year at the ripe age of 21. So I don't believe we've always got it right. I thought that he should have won last year. Probably should have gotten one of the ones that Steph Curry got when he went back to Cleveland, to your point. I disagree with you on the Derrick Rose one because Derrick Rose had essentially nothing around him and dragged that team to the best record and ultimately to the conference finals. So I'm not going to begrudge him that one. And as for Kuzma, I had to keep laughing. I mean, when did Kyle Kuzma become an oracle about NBA history? He's only been here for about a half a minute. And now he's going to tell me about this award being political all the time? Stop it. I need somebody else other than Kuzma singing that song.
Well, you know, to Kuzma's credit, Mr. K-Pop himself, he has taken shots at LeBron James before. Y'all remember when his trainer went out there and said LeBron was running from Kawhi Leonard, and then they had all that, and Kuzma dropped a tweet, called a spade, then deleted it. So it gives a little credence to what Kuzma's saying because Kuzma also will take a shot at the king. But this one, I think, is factual. I will start at 7 MVPs minimum for LeBron James. Let's go back in history. When he finished second in MVP to Steve Nash 05-06. LeBron had a career high. This is the king who had a career high 31 points per game, nearly 13 more points per game than Steve Nash did at 18. And he had more win shares than Nash, but Nash got that one. Okay, let's go to 07-08 when Kobe won it. But rest in peace, Kobe the Great. LeBron had more points per game, more rebounds per game, more assists per game, and a better field goal percentage than Kobe. LeBron led the NBA in scoring that year, y'all. But people were like, this is a consolation prize to Kobe because a couple years before, he lost it to Steve Nash. Okay, Let's go to 2010, 2011, when he lost to Derrick Rose and Dwight Howard. LeBron had won the 2 MVPs before that. So they got tired, just voter fatigue in that one right there. But LeBron had more points per game, more rebounds per game, and almost identical assists. Identical assists to Derrick Rose, but they gave it to Derrick Rose. Come on, man. That voter's bias came out at least 3 times to make this 7. If you want to go with K-Pop Kuzma, then you start getting into the 8 and 9 number. But the point is, certainly more than 4, y'all.
So if we know the what, and the what, at least in Marcellus and my eyes, is that LeBron James should have more, I think we got to talk about the why. Why doesn't he have more? And the why to me, Slick, I believe you're a voter on several awards. I'm not for sure. Slick, you vote on the MVP award?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
So my dog, Slick, you more credible than us. But the why, in my opinion, is very simple. Like human nature, we all like new things, shiny toys, the new Christmas gift, the new birthday present. So what is the new thing? Russell Westbrook, when he averaged a triple-double the first time over the course of the season, that was a new thing. Haven't seen that since, Oscar Robinson, if I'm not mistaken. So he won the MVP award. Now, Russell Westbrook did it for 3 consecutive seasons, but he only won 1 MVP award because it was no longer the shiny new thing. Steve Nash averaged 19 points and 10 assists. In a day and age when we're seeing T-Mac put up points, Allen Iverson put up points, Kobe Bryant put up points, in a day and age where the star is the scorer, Steve Nash was not only scoring, but he was also assisting and leading one of the most prolific and new types of offense. Mike D'Antoni, the running gun, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, etc. It was a new thing. LeBron James, at first, was a new thing. Wins his MVP 8-9, wins his MVP 9-10. But by 10-11, not only is he not new, he's in a new place with people not showing any new love. So if you want to talk about the why didn't LeBron James win more MVPs, it's because he was no longer the new thing. So the last point I'll bring up is the Steph Curry. People argue LeBron should have won over Steph Curry that year. But remember, Steph Curry, the new thing, record-setting 3-pointers in the NBA. So I try to wrestle more with Slick the why. Why do the Slick Ricks not show LeBron James the love he deserves? And I think it's because human nature, we all get infatuated with the new thing.
Well, certainly, look, having a vote does not assume credibility. The voting results are proof of that. And because we haven't always gotten it right in terms of the voting. And then this is the other part. Like, if we're going to talk about LeBron James not having enough, Kobe Bryant only having 1 MVP is just inexplicable.
Ooh,
so I take issue with the fact that LeBron mentioned that there are other guys that should be unhappy. The reality is he should have said by name, Kobe Bryant should have more than 1 MVP to his name, and he doesn't. So I have nothing to complain about. And Kuzma also mentioned politics, and he's right. And look, maybe some of it is fatigue, some of it is looking for the new story, but it's also a matter of that LeBron James, certainly the second time he was there, if not at the end of the first, and I know during the first run there, toward the end, if any player wanted to come join him in Cleveland, it would be like, how long are you going to be there, dog? And he'd never give him an answer because he was always 1 foot out the door. And when he went back, kept signing those short-term deals because didn't know how long he wanted to stay. And as a result, they couldn't build the kind of teams ultimately that they wanted to build. It would have been difficult in Cleveland anyway.
Slick,
but that's where the politics comes in because LeBron never had those overwhelming teams that his talent might have been able to forge, in part because he was always looking to the next thing. So, yes, we're all looking for the next best thing, LeBron included.
Slick, I got a question, though, because you left me hanging, and therefore I'd have to assume you left some of the viewers hanging. You said LeBron James should have 4 or something, but you didn't tell us where. Yes. Now, you are the resident NBA expert, so I need to know which ones should LeBron have had, which ones should he not have had, and conclude with the number, right? Like, you the NBA dude, you know more than me about the game, so you might lose some people, but for the sake of my knowledge, because I'm genuinely curious, what years should LeBron have for sure had, and what years are you saying he shouldn't have had at all? Give me your final answer by the years.
Yeah, look, well, there is in many cases, like James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo 2 years ago. I Either one. I voted for Harden. Somebody wants Giannis. I don't have a problem with it. Last year, I thought it was LeBron's. It was clearly LeBron's last year for what he was able to do. If we're going back, I'll give him one of those in Cleveland the first time around, but I'm not going to give him both the one that he took from Kobe and the one that he took from KD. Kobe would have had back-to-back if that had not happened. And 2014-15, I believe that was the year when he went back to Cleveland, when he took that team. He had talent around him, but what he did with them, to me, deserved one. So take away one of the first two in Cleveland and give him last year's, and I'm good. So I think he deserves 4. I don't necessarily say, if you want to give him 5, we could make an argument, but it's not like I'm going to protest, because I feel as if there are a number of guys, starting with Kobe Bryant, who could say the same thing, and they're a long way from 4.
Man, let me say what Acho is really trying to say, Slick. That you and your voting homies out there tripping. Y'all out there stay tripping. Y'all keep getting this wrong, but it's not your fault. One level is it's an award. And when you have an award, you usually have an award ceremony. What comes with an award ceremony? Oh, let's generate a little interest. The new thing is more interesting than the old thing. Look, this Friday, they say it's a movie premiere coming out. And everybody's like, yeah, we could go because movie theaters are back open. And then next Friday, they say the same movie, another movie premiere. We're like, just saw that movie. Like, you sure? Not as much interest. That's part of it. But the other part is, it's not merit-based. Its intentions are merit-based, but the outcome isn't, because the process isn't. You got to factor in voter bias and, like I said, voter fatigue. But in sports, it's funny. We try to create the meritocracy, make it merit-based by playing against each other. And then we just eliminate all the conjecture and the subjective bias and say, beat them, and then you advance to finally you've beaten everybody. But that can't happen when it's a process that's based on how I feel about certain player. And I'm glad you brought up last year, because Giannis is now the back-to-back MVP. What would it take for Giannis to win a 3rd straight MVP? Averaging like 50 on a triple-double, and he's not going to be able to do it because his first MVP was here. His second MVP, his numbers actually improved. But that same number of improvement, that same gap of improvement is not going to be enough to get him his 3rd one, Slick. So voter fatigue, to me, always is a highlight when I think about this process.
It is a factor. The other factor is that they've never defined what MVP is. Frank Vogel is saying he was the best player. You could make the case that he's been the best player, but that doesn't necessarily translate to most valuable. Each voter has their own definition of what most valuable is, and that's why we have as much of this controversy as we do, too.